Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Buckeyes for the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by the Locked On Big Ten Podcast, because there's simply no better place to get all the news on the Big Ten Conference than with the Locked On Big Ten Podcast and its new host, Mr. Nate Dickinson. Follow the Locked On Big Ten Podcast on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your fine podcast. It is Sunday, the first day in the month of August in the year 2021. And no matter if you're listening to the audio version of the podcast or if you're watching us on YouTube or WKYC.com, I want to thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes a part of your day. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at JStevens07. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter as well at Locked On Buckeye. Lined up for today, we're talking all about the possibility of Quinn Ewers foregoing his senior year of high school and being at Ohio State preseason camp, which begins next week. We have a little discussion that I had with a listener of the podcast where we're going to discuss a topic that he mentioned that could actually happen. We're also going to have 3 questions of my own to close out the show. But we begin the show talking about the head football coach, Ryan Day, and a weird, abnormal connection, a task Chris Holtman had on his to-do list and Ryan Day might have on his. So the date, November 4th, 2021. 2020. November 4th, 2020. Many people, myself, don't even remember what we were doing. Don't know what day of the week it was. It's not like your birthday when a lot of us know the date of our birth, the day of the week of our birth. We know the time, around the approximate time we were born. Most of us know something about the day we're born. Most of us have certain dates in our lives that stick out, that pop, that we remember. Unfortunately, 9/11, 2001, almost at 2021, 2001. This year marks 20 years from the horrific or crazy or abnormal or tragic things that happened on 9/11 in New York City, at the Pentagon, Twin Towers. So those are dates that we remember. November 4th, 2020, almost at 2021 again. November 4th of 2020, news came out that Abel Porter, recent grad transfer from Utah State, would not be medically cleared to play the basketball at Ohio State. And immediately Chris Holtman had a big task, big duty on his plate right in front of him. So you have a grad transfer in Abel Porter who transfers in from Utah State, supposed to be a rotational piece off the bench at the point guard position. C.J. Walker is a starter, Abel Porter the backup. That's a great tandem, a lot of leadership, guys that can lead and orchestrate the offense. Seems like a great situation until he's medically not cleared to play the basketball. Chris Holtman reached out to Meechie Johnson, a 17-year-old who missed his junior year of high school basketball season due to a leg injury. So Meechie Johnson coming off of an injury. Meechie Johnson, 17 years old, in high school, quickly decides, I can reclassify. My grades are done. I don't have much to do before I end up graduating from high school. So I'm going to reclassify and join the Ohio State basketball program. That, my friends, was a quick old turnaround. And I'm not sure if Meechie Johnson and his family had already thought about the reclassification process and doing it, but it surely seemed when Chris Holtman talked to him, Meechie Johnson played, and Meechie Johnson looked like somebody that was a freshman, a true freshman basketball player. That's exactly what he played like. So now you have a guy in Quinn Ewers who down there in South Lake Carroll High School, down there in the state of Texas, very big, very huge, very heavy with the high school football. He's willing to possibly, and I say possibly, if I was trying to gauge this, it looks like it's going to happen based off the article that Pete Thamel wrote from Yahoo Sports, who covers the college football and the college basketball. It looks like it's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet at the time of this recording. So Quinn Ewers says, I want to make money. It's rumblings that I can make $1 million via endorsement money, NIL money. So I am going to consider with the counsel of my parents and discussing these with my parents for going my senior year of high school and going to Ohio State. So if Ryan Day, if this actually happens, or Ryan Day has a senior in high school on his roster, there are things about this that are very similar to Chris Holtman bringing in Meechie Johnson. One, the body of a high school senior is not the body and not as mature as the body of an individual that is a freshman in college. Say you went all 12 years playing, 12 years of regular grade school, no skipping, none of that stuff, no skipping, no getting held back, none of that stuff. 12 years of schooling, getting reclassified, you get done, you go there. Your body is going to be more mature than an individual that, well, most of the time, if you are a senior in high school, well, your strength and conditioning program at your high school is not going to be like that at a college, Ohio State. Also, your nutrition. Nutrition is going to be different. Most of these guys, I'm sure, a lot of these guys are already very, very health conscious anyway, but there's another level, guys. There's another level when you go to these top tier programs when it comes to the nutrition than what a lot of these individuals have in high school. Because eating healthy, people are finding, you got a budget for it. It's not like you can go out and you can spend a little bit and get some food. No, you got a budget for it, cooking food off. It takes some time. So I know Quinn Ewers. I know Quinn Ewers, his body will get mature. But Ryan Day and Chris Holtman have a task, guys, that is very, very interesting. And I'm curious to find out exactly what it is that these two individuals are going to do. Will Ryan Day, if this happens, consult with Chris Holtman and see what Chris Holtman did when it came to Meechie Johnson and how quickly he got Meechie Johnson, Chris Holtman, that is, used to the speed, used to the pace, used to the conditioning, used to what Ohio State basketball means, used to Big Ten basketball. Quinn Ewers is going to come in. People say, some say, not Jay, some say, oh, he's going to be right there in the QB competition. I want to say pump the brakes on that. First, he has to lose his black stripe. And two, I don't know how quick he'll get used to the Ohio State brand of football, practice, nutrition, all of the above. But Holtman and Day possibly tasked with a similar role, and I'm surely hope, but I believe that these two men will console each other if Quinn Ewers does what he is leaning to do. Let's step away very, very quickly. When we come back, we will discuss a big what if, and the thought comes from a conversation I had with a listener here of the podcast. But first, check this out. Did you know the Built Bar has so many delicious flavors? There's literally something for everyone. When you talk to a Built Bar fan, they're definitely passionate about their favorites. Here are some of their flavors. Coconut, which I love. Cherry barcia and raspberry and mint brownie and double chocolate and salted caramel and strawberry and orange. Even cookies and cream and German chocolate as well. Not only are Built Bar flavors the best tasting, but they're healthy for you too. 17 to 18 grams of protein, calories ranging from 130 to 180, only 4 to 5 grams of sugar, and only 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. Order today and get the grasshopper cookie or raspberry or whatever you like. Go to builtbar.com or built-a-shorted-for-you.com and use that friendly promo code LOCKED15, LOCKED15, and you will get 15% off your next order. Once again, use that promo code LOCKED15 when you go to built.com and get 15% off your next order. Built Bar is the official protein bar of the U.S. track and field team. If this is your first time listening or watching the podcast, I want to say welcome. Or if it's your first time in a long time listening or watching the podcast, I want to say welcome back. Locked on Buckeyes drops a fresh new episode for you every Monday through Friday. With fall camp starting next week, we're going to have, a lot to talk about. And as well, sometimes there's a bonus episode like what you have today. So make sure you subscribe. Odyssey app, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your fine podcasts. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. Let's keep growing that thing so you don't miss a beat. So there are things when you have a big what if. There's a couple that I have here. I'm going to open up with one and then kind of expound on something with the conversation that I had with somebody else. So with Quinn Ewers coming in and playing at Ohio State, potentially playing at Ohio State, I've already mentioned I think the best ideal thing for him to do this year is going to be the red shirt. And with the redshirt year being 2021, 2022, 3, 4, and 5 could be the 4 years that he plays the football at Ohio State and that he's on the Ohio State football roster. So when I think about the what ifs of an individual and what ifs of an athlete, or what ifs of the transition from high school, no matter if you go to a South Lake Carroll High School, if you go to Bishop Gorman, IMG Academy, or whatever high school you go to, your high school you went to. Let's just use that for example. Going from your high school to the Division I level of football or the next level of football, it's a different ball game, y'all. It's a different ball game. And so I'm curious, and what if things work out for Quinn Ewers, and even if he redshirts, even if he has to wait a little bit to be the guy, he makes the money he's looking to make, he's mature, and once he gets on the field, he waits his turn, and by waiting, he learns and gets a lot of information, and by him getting said information, he is able to process things at an elite level. And you know what else? A big what if things work out for him? What if the timetable that Ryan Day discusses with Carl Ewers, Quinn Ewers' dad, and his mom, which I don't know. I read the article that Pete Thelma wrote. I don't believe his mom's name was in there. I know Carl Ewers made a statement and had some things that Pete Thelma used in the conversation that they had. So I don't know exactly what the mom's name is, which is why I'm not saying it. What if things work out? I mean, what if this is just an abnormal situation? Things work out for him. Can't make money in the high school ranks, but he can at Ohio State. He makes his money. He waits his turn, and he is a quarterback that people are talking about, and he lives up to the hype. Will this be a path that I think many athletes and many youngsters will go down? Absolutely not. Because I don't think the average parent, mom or dad or guardian, grandma, grandpa, I don't think the average parent or high school coach will advise their individual, hey, forego your senior year, not just of football, senior year of high school. You only get one senior year. Yes, the money is there. I've heard one person say, the money will be there in 4 months. What's the difference between going in 4 months or going now? It could be the principle of it to you, but the memories that you have in high school, many people will say, hey, I'm going to put a time out to this. I think it's best for you to stay in school. Yes, I know the money is there, but there's one thing you can't erase and you can't forget and you can't look past. It's the experiences that you have in high school. I hang out with some friends from high school. I consistently talk to a few, and sometimes we'll talk about things that happened in high school. Just they come up in conversation because those are memories you're going to last, that will last for a lifetime, positive and negative. I talk about some negative things from high school. Some of my friends do as well. They're going to last for a lifetime. And I know many people out there will say, hold on. And I'm on the path. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I think it's wise for Quinn Ewers to stay in school. Yes, he can graduate early. Yes, he can get the money. I get all of that, but I think it's wise for Quinn Ewers to stay in school. I'm not advising him. I'm not his mom nor his dad. So I'm not the advisor. This is just one person relaying something. And I think there are many people out there that might think the same thing. Stay in school. You only get one senior year. What if things work out for Quinn Ewers? He does this, he goes, gets the money, and he's very, very successful at Ohio State. It will be a path people will be talking about for a very long time. Also, I don't think the average athlete in high school, even top-tier athlete in high school, has the chance and will start going down this route. I don't believe that. I don't think this will be a trend that we'll be seeing for a very, very long time. But there's another what if I'm going to throw out there to you before 3 more questions to close out the show. What if Quinn Ewers is a one-and-done athlete at Ohio State? So you're saying, Jay, one and done, that's a basketball term. Hear me out. So in college, Well, to go into the NFL, you have to be 3 years removed from high school before you're eligible for the NFL draft. So you'll get some guys, they are freshman, sophomore, junior year. They're 3 years out. They got the caliber. They built up the resume to go to the NFL. Their body of work is good enough for them to go and get drafted. So be it. So they'll leave the college ranks and to go to the NFL, put their name in the NFL draft. You'll get some guys, they'll redshirt their freshman year. And so you get a redshirt freshman year. You get a redshirt year, then a redshirt freshman year, and then a redshirt sophomore year. After that redshirt sophomore year, they're eligible to go to the NFL draft because they've been out of high school for 3 years. So when I say the one and done aspect, hear me out. What if Quinn Ewers is simply using the Ohio State brand to get the money that he's wanting, the cash and primarily the equity that his dad mentioned in the article? He gets that, and then he is quote unquote a free agent next season using his one-time transfer that's eligible to him. One-time transfer and get immediate eligibility, might I add. You can transfer as much as you want, but you get one-time immediate eligibility that's now legal and that can happen in college football. What if he is a one-and-done athlete? He goes to Ohio State. He's at preseason camp. He loses his black stripe, red shirt or non-red shirt. I think it'll be more of a red shirt variety based on the conversation that we've had. Red shirt at Ohio State. You learn the strength and conditioning. You boost your nutrition. You learn everything you can from Ryan Day and whoever the starter is at Ohio State, Corey Dennis, QB coach, Kevin Wilson, OC. And all of a sudden, you're like, well, I think the starter from last year in 2021 will start in 2022. I don't want to be somebody to sit the bench and ride the pine and not be out there on the field. So I'm going to leave Ohio State. And simply, he's using Ohio State for their brand. The quarterback at Ohio State is generally going to be more valuable to companies than the quarterback, than let's say at Troy, or the quarterback, let's say at Illinois, or let's say at Oregon State. Now, that's based off you and I. There may be people in that local area that may say, oh, you're the quarterback. I want to use you for this endorsement deal, X, Y, and Z. This man has not even played college football yet. Not even had a practice, not touched no weight as a college athlete, none of that. Seven-figure possible endorsement deal, a collection of money based on all the endorsement deals that may come his way. What if he's a one and done? What will you think about that? Now, I'm not trying to throw out any bad or negative thoughts that you may say, well, Jay, you're crazy. These are all what ifs because nobody knows what this young man's going to do on the football field. Why? Because he ain't touched the football field yet. So what if he's a one and done, uses Ohio State's brand to get the money, and ultimately goes somewhere else where he can transfer, get immediate eligibility, as well as play right away? Something to think about. You know what else is something to think about? We got 3 questions to close out this show in regards to this Quinn Ewers situation. Stick around to figure out and find out what those questions are. But first, check this out. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your sports action. Baseball season is in full swing, and you can track all the action at BetOnline. Get all the latest news, odds, and info for all your sporting needs, including MLB, NBA, NHL, and all your UFC/MMA action. Before the next pitch, head over to betonline.ag on your laptop or mobile device and check out all the great sporting news, sign-up bonuses, and contest information. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore, as this is your chance to get into the game as teams prep for their runs to the playoffs. Head to betonline.ag on your laptop or mobile device to sign up today. And when you do, make sure you use that friendly promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON, and it's all one word, and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sports book experts. And as we roll on, your team every single day. And like I mentioned, I'm recording this on Saturday evening, and I'm going to be out of town on Sunday. We'll have a guest, Bill Bender from Sporting News, will be with us on Monday, trying to get a guest lined up for Tuesday as well. There will still be an episode Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Jill will be back talking about preseason camp, the beginning of camp, and first practice and things that are going to go in to that. If anybody is going to be in Dayton for the TBT tournament, the basketball tournament, that'll be at the University of Dayton, let me know. Look for me. I'll be on Twitter. DMs are open. Connect with me. I would love to meet some listeners of the podcast if anybody is going to be there on Sunday afternoon. Two big what ifs right there in segment number 2. Segment 3, a few questions here that some not so what ifs, but how quickly, things along those natures as far as this situation. 3 questions that will close up shop. The first question I got, will Quinn Ewers be comfortable waiting to start? Because my thought process, let's just say that CJ Stroud's a starting quarterback at Ohio State. He's already had 1 year. He can be this year. He can be next year before he's NFL eligible, ready and eligible for the NFL draft. So CJ Stroud starts this year. CJ Stroud, I'm going to assume whoever the starter is this year starts next year. So this is 2021, 2022 season. Let's just say that he's gone after 2022. So McCord, I assume, will still be there. Tecmo, the third, we'll figure out. Some people are saying one will transfer, one will not. We'll discuss that later on. But let's just say one leaves. Let's say McCord's still there. So 2023, will McCord start? Will it be Ewers? That's 2 full seasons of not playing the football when you've been the man, when you have been the guy for a very, very, very long time. So that's a long waiting period. How will you? These are questions I would ask about anybody. If somebody is a man on the basketball team, Meechie Johnson, the man. Meechie Johnson will go from starting to being a bench player, from being a guy that plays most of the game to not getting very many minutes at all, from a guy that is the big man on campus to somebody that when it comes to exactly what it is that he is on a basketball team, he's not looked at the same way, not just because he's young, but because his role on the team is different. So will Quinn Ewers be comfortable waiting to start at Ohio State? Question. That's the first question I have. And I think it's a valid question to ask in regard to this situation and really any high caliber athlete. You got to ask these questions because these are all things that I think need to be asked about anybody. No matter if it's quarterback, running back, wide receiver, linebacker. Will he be comfortable waiting to start? The next one, how quickly will he adjust to life as a student athlete at the Ohio State University? I put the emphasis on student because I do believe he's going to get a free education, and I am not a person that looks at and laughs at or scoffs at and says a free education means nothing. I do believe these athletes getting a free education, F-R-E-E education, is something that should not be laughed at, should not be looked over. If you say these athletes deserve to get paid, okay, great. Don't be the person that says that and say the scholarship means absolutely nothing. There are people that are still paying 20, 25 plus years paying on their student loans because school is expensive. And these athletes are getting it for F-R-E-E, that spells free, creditreport.com, baby. Free education, it's amazing, but how quickly will he be able to adjust to life at Ohio State? Being a student in college, where you're supposed to be a senior in high school, and being an athlete when your schedule is busy, and man, oh man, that time you have to properly time manage everything. You don't want to flunk off the team. You may have some struggles, but how quickly will he adjust? Yeah, mom's an English teacher, but mom won't be there. Mom and dad won't be there with him when he is in Ohio, in Columbus, at Ohio State taking the classes. And last but not least, how will he respond to going from being the man, big man on campus, to being 3rd or 4th on the depth chart? Probably 4th. I'm assuming redshirt year. But how will he respond to that? Because I do think part of this goes back to Tathan Martell. Some of you know him as Tate. I'll call him Tathan. Not trying to make light over the situation where he's going to another high school or another college, going back to where he lives. But Tate Martell, I don't think, really responded well when he was not the man. You go from Bishop Gorman winning all the state titles, winning all the – I don't think did he lose 1 or 2 games in high school? He didn't lose very much. But Tate Martell, I don't believe, responded very well from when he was not the man. Also, I don't think he was very talented. I don't think he was talented enough to be the starting quarterback at not either Ohio State or Miami. I don't think that at all. I think that what we saw in high school, a lot of things don't translate. Maybe you're not skilled enough, but a lot of things don't translate from the high school prep school route, high school, public school, private school, whatever route you are in high school to college. A lot of guys just can't do it. A lot of people just can't do it. And I think with Tate Martell, what we're fighting, yeah, you can get your jokes off, you can laugh at him. But when you want to look at the situation and get details about it and have a very mature and adult conversation, I don't think he responded very, very well from not being the man. Quinn Ewers, success in high school. Tate Martell, success in high school. State championship for both of these gentlemen. Both of them, top recruits in their class for both. So it's not like these guys are just like people that just aren't that good. They were good at their craft in high school. But when you go from being the man to being third or fourth and being looked at different than you're normally looked at, being somebody that's not the starter, not getting the same amount of reps in practice, not getting the same attention from the coach, the OC, the quarterback coach, the head coach, there's a very, very big level of maturity that it takes from someone that is not in that is in that role, from being the number one to being third or fourth, maybe fifth in that room. Will Quinn Ewers be comfortable waiting to start? How quickly will he adjust to life as a student athlete? How will he respond to be going from being the man to being third or fourth on the depth chart? Valid question, things I think we need to ask, and ultimately things that we'll find out down the road. Guys, special episode for Quinn Ewers on this Sunday. I'm sure some of you may catch this on Monday or Tuesday, as I did announce it a little bit later that we will be doing this now. So I would advise all of you, follow me on Twitter, because this was announced first on Twitter before the recording took place at jsteven07. The DMs are always open. If you want to communicate with me via the DM if you got a question, a comment, something. I held the communication. You guys help the show. You guys help the show grow, and I would love to know your feedback to figure out and find some things here that are regard to what you guys want to hear here on the podcast. Oh, also, everyone loves to bet. A lot of people love to bet. And betting on the Ohio State Buckeyes doesn't have to be a guessing game. If you listen to the new Locked On Bets podcast hosted by your boy Q and handicapping expert Lee Sterling, get daily picks, blowout specials, wrong team favorite picks, and Lee Sterling's lock of the day. Follow the Locked On Bets podcast, brought to you by betonline.ag, wherever you get your fine podcast.